hope y'all enjoy your day and whatever. Um, I'm just here somewhat watching a football game on mute. Well, currently on mute. Figure I'd come in, get these watch hours. This, that, and the third. I do have a couple of things for you guys. Um, it's I don't think it's really all that much, but um, it's a little bit of something. But I don't think it's too much. At least I don't think so. I heard UCLA may get big win today. Welcome, welcome, welcome. See what I can find.
Welcome.
Nah, I'm not gonna do that. See what I can find. Okay. I got a little something here from Midwest Safety. Um, from Midwest Safety. Let's go ahead and get on into it.
Let's fucking go. Searching machine. Get tickets now.
And here we are.
On September 27th, 2023, in Joliet, Illinois,
Midwest Safety.
officers responded to a jam for the 36th consecutive noise complaint. This time, they'd had enough.
Dude is hostile as hell, bro. This dude is super damn hostile. This dude is hostile. They got three.
What you got going on? This dude? Yeah, I walked in and he's like, out of here. I'm like, all right, you want to listen? You want to turn your music down? This me? Hell yeah. Push you out the gym. Very much. He was like, walking me out. And he's like, I'm not giving you shit. You got to complain? Yeah, they got to complain. Ongoing issue. So I would let you want to talk to him. Pushed you out? He kind of like, nudged me out. I opened the door. It's sued for harassment. This is private crime. You do not sit here in front of my motherfucking gym and cause
Oh, they about to tase you, bro. The way you acting, they about to tase you.
Yes, you are. You guys are sitting here and staring at my. I don't give a. I think she's a.
Bro, they's about to tase you.
No. Or fucking have a mental disability. It is in court. Fucking documented. That's right. So you go. It's coming. I already did. What the fuck are you gonna do to me? You ain't gonna do shit. What the fuck are you doing rolling 4D? Shut the fuck up. Oh, that's what you guys do. You ain't getting shit. You're about to get sued for harassment. You're disrupting my motherfucking. You are disrupting it. You are causing the scene. If you give this officer your information, you're not allowed in here. We're not. You're not allowed in here.
Oh, oh, they squabbling now. Oh, they squabbling now. Oh, damn, and they tased him. Yeah, very late to the party. Back up, very late to the party.
You see what he was doing? Are you serious? He was hitting us in the face too, so. It's over with. Damn it. This guy really slick hard. So what the fuck tastes it?
Wednesday morning at 5 o'clock.
I had to go through court for all this shit again.
I get it, man, but like, when I first got here, I was cool with you. I was just trying to talk to you, and right away you started screaming at me. Okay? I get it. I'm a gym head too. This is gonna ruin my workout too, man. Where's your wallet and stuff at?
I don't have a wallet, man. This one.
Just try to fit in there real quick. Continue over to this bar right here, and I'll go.
Can you just leave this open just until I?
No, I can't, man.
I'm not gonna run, bro. I swear. Can you just open at least the window? I'm not gonna run. I swear to God.
Okay, what's your name, man?
Brandon. You good?
Yeah. Yeah, we got you some shoes, all right?
I don't have shoes. Oh, what's up, man?
I'll put your shoes on.
It's all good, dude. I don't have shoes.
We'll take them to the station.
I just saw he wasn't going down, and it was too much of a struggle, so it's like.
Following this incident, Brandon was charged with 2 counts of resisting or obstructing a peace officer and 1 count of obstructing identification. He is innocent unless proven guilty in a court of law. Up next, the late-night lifter who brought vodka instead of water.
Listening to my readers is the best way to evolve my business and see what it is going to take.
Up next, the late-night lifter who brought vodka instead of water.
How's it going?
Dude, there's trespassing. Bro, you gonna get trespassed. Like, seriously.
I'm gonna give you one more option to leave. I don't know nobody in that gym.
With the suspect now in custody, officers soon interview victims to reveal the true scope of the suspect's actions.
Alright, we try to be nice, man, but that's not how it's working today, is it? Stop resisting, stop resisting, stop resisting. You're black, bro. Like, what the f*** are you doing, bro? Oh, that's what it was. Are you serious, dude? You're embarrassing yourself.
And he gonna make them carry his ass out.
Have a seat. I've done this before, bro. Please don't. I just been sad, bro. Like, please. Why y'all like harassing me right now? You're super intoxicated, alright? I'm not intoxicated. I haven't been drinking all day. You got these cars. Alright, we're gonna Bro, you like punching me up like a sweat right now. Adios.
It's just that I was trying to escort him out of but just put my hands on his shoulders like, you know. And then when he was like, stop putting your hands on me, and I'm like, you know what? We got something right, man. Let me go ahead and call the police. Because I know you're drunk. I'll beat that fucking dude's ass, bro. With no issues, no problems. I promise you that.
We're gonna let him sit in cell and slip off to the station if we can, so he's more cooperative. So we have battery, we have trespass, we have obstructing.
Who's gonna public tell us?
We do, but the thing is, it's inside of the front of the that's not so yeah, it's not about that right. Everyone's gonna take a ride, alright? Don't be trying to get out of those cuffs, I'm gonna pull over this car. You're gonna do what? You're gonna sleep? What can I call you, man? What's your first name? Please.
Following this incident, the suspect, Jahari, was charged with aggravated assault, battery, trespassing, and obstructing a peace officer. He is innocent unless proven guilty in a court of law.
Every gym has that one guy who thinks that the rules don't apply to him. What happens when that same attitude gets tested not by a trainer, but by a cop with a taser? Moments like this show how quickly pride can outweigh common sense. Refusing a simple order might feel like you're making a stand, but inside a gym packed with people, it creates a confrontation that officers just can't walk away from. And in that moment, the officer's responsibility isn't just about one person, it's about protecting everyone else in the gym. Now we're trained to de-escalate, to give warnings, and to allow someone every chance to make the right call. When those warnings bounce off like a ball against a brick wall, the officer has to decide whether to keep talking or take action. The question is, why does everyone seem to see what they want to see instead of the truth? That's the problem with perception, because outsiders often see force where there's really just necessity. The
Here we
taser
go,
of the
y'all.
restraint is not about
This is crime and all.
Experience truly effortless positioning. With an
This is crime and all. And this clip is Eric and Karen is convinced how hotel rules don't apply to her. Let's go.
She came on the property about 2 hours ago. She wandered around, got notified, looked around for her, couldn't find her. Got notified of our saw that. 30 minutes ago, she went into the pool shower, she seen like a guest. Walked over there, she'd been in there for 30 minutes.
Alright, give me 1 sec.
What's that over? You got black clothes and took them off. So, go over there, make contact with her. She's singing.
Yeah, she sounds drunk as hell.
For her name, she says she's staying here at 216, and her name.
Can you stand over there like I told you to stand over there? Thank you.
So, confirmed that she's not a guest here, hasn't been a guest here. She charged this burger to the room, gave her name, and outside she burger.
That's true. I told him my money should come onto my card. So sad.
Or I'm gonna have to call a
He's
cop.
lying, and he had on black
And
gloves.
saying something about money getting
He's
transferred to her
rented
account.
more than one time, and those are on this in this lodge.
1 second, hold this.
I'm telling you, he's lying to you.
Look,
Chick, you're drunk.
just
I can tell by the way you sound drunk as hell. Sit your drunk ass down.
I gotta get his side of the story. He's lying.
Drunk,
Can I speak to
bitch.
him? Alright, you know, let me finish talking, or you want me to just go based off
What
of
up,
he's
y'all? What up?
Well, okay, because I'm trying to get both sides of the story, okay? Alright. You shouting, you're causing a disturbance, okay? We don't want that. Okay? So
Yeah,
you know,
she's
let me
drunk
talk
as
to him
hell. I
first,
can look tell
and then
she's
you're gonna
drunk.
speak to this deputy here, okay? Good afternoon. Hello. Do you have to have any ID on you? Somebody stole my ID. Okay.
Really?
I created one off of Microsoft.
And that's the story you gonna go with? Alright.
They've also stolen $1,000 from a federal FAFSA loan. They made it look like it was invalidating, and it leads back to tourism and tourister. Now, I was comparing Islander. I was over at Islander earlier. I was comparing it to Chica Lodge. And so I came here and I spoke to somebody that has a rose on her desk, and it's right next to an elevator. And I told her that I wanted to look into a room, so they showed me a room, right? And so I came down here, and I went over to a pathway, and I noticed a pool that had cabanas, like they used to have up in Key Biscayne. And so there was a bar there, and there was some water, so I got some water, and there was someone who was working there, and I told her that my money comes onto my card at 10 o'clock, right, at night? And so she said I could have, she went and put a burger through. And she went and she put a soda through, and I didn't know she was going to do that. Almost nobody does that, right? If you don't have the money already on the card. And so he's saying to me that I was the one who started thieving and stealing and doing something fraudulent around here. Now, he had on black gloves. They both did. And they started threatening me over there when no one was around. And then we were going to have a chat. I wrote it down what he was saying. What he started to say, we were going to have a chat, we're going to avoid issues. He said it was theft, he said it was fraud. He said his name was Decker, he said he was the security supervisor here. He had on black gloves, he said he's the manager. They showed me a room at 216, it has an extremely large safe. This is nothing I'd really even be looking for, and it also had champagne amenities.
I'll be right back.
I was taking a shower, and I asked if I could take a shower, and the woman at the bar who ordered the burger for me, and she also ordered a soda for me, she said I could take a shower also. And then security showed up during when I was just about to finish taking the shower, and he said he wanted to talk with me. And so he threatened me a few times before you got here, and they both took off black gloves that they were wearing. They said they were going through bags, but almost everybody wears blue gloves or something. I don't know what's going on with them.
Okay, so she was in the room?
No, never. She got shown her room. She's never shown her room. They don't show rooms. She was staying at 216. She's not. She's not. She walked to her signature store to take anything. We checked and disappeared. We couldn't find her. She went to the adult room, started pulling aside, and ordered a burger. Charged room 216. Then after she consumed it, she went to the shower.
Inside the room 216.
By the stall, there's like a ocean doors. So she went, it's like 20 feet away from that bar, and we got called over by the bartender. Hey, this lady ate a burger. She's been in the shower for 30 minutes. So what's going on? Oh, it's the homeless lady working at work.
Okay, who is it that saw her eat the burger?
Well, she ordered it from our floor staff.
Okay.
So it's the same tenant that we have up there now.
Okay, so she saw her eat the food.
She served it to her and watched her consume it.
Okay. Alright. And then what she said?
So I talked to her, got her out of the shower. Oh, I'm staying room 216. Checked again. No. And then asked her, is she going to make a reservation? Oh yeah, I'm going to make one later, but Monday doesn't come through until 10 p.m. Okay, well you're not a guest. You can't charge to the room. You can pay me $32.79 now. I'll go take care of that. You can leave. Or if you don't pay it, I'll call the police.
Sir, be clear about traffic. The
She's going off about how her money doesn't come through until 10, and she is staying in 216. The room is occupied. Somebody completely different. Doesn't know her.
Did you happen to speak to him already? Yeah.
No.
No? Okay. Do you know who's staying in there? If you can find out who's staying in there, just so I can ask her.
Yeah, absolutely.
She happens to know her. Let me see the tab. If she's not willing to pay, or do you guys want to press charges? Yeah. Okay. So obviously she's not willing to pay or anything like that, and the detainer, you're willing to do a statement for her? Okay. Same thing with whoever gave her the food. Yeah. All right.
I'm back here. I'm back.
Something. I don't know what's going on with that. So, what's your name?
Barrow, Barrow.
And what's your date of birth?
68. It's Arrow. It's
Arrow.
Oda.
And what state was your ID in?
I'm from Miami, Florida. I was living in Fort Smith, Arkansas. I started off with a federal FAFSA loan.
Okay, but the last driver's license that you had, what state was that in?
Arkansas, Fort Smith, Arkansas.
Okay, so you no longer have a Florida driver's license?
Right, it expired. I graduated from St. Brendan High School, and I got a couple of degrees from Stepson University. And so that's
The one up in DeLand?
right in Volusia County. I believe I
They don't
had.
make hats there, I thought they did, but...
You know, there is Stetson hats.
Yeah, but it's different.
No, there's a business school. I didn't find them making hats either there.
Yeah.
But there's business school, I know that. There's also a chemistry lab. But I believe I had an ID there. I had a red Honda Prelude upon graduation.
Well, give me just a second. Supposed to go here? Yeah, give us just a second, I'll be right back.
So, came in here, she's not, she doesn't stand, go through the tape. They asked somebody with me. She took a shower in the spa. It's for a burger. The person that is in front desk who's the burger, so I can consume a burger. And she didn't have any money to pay for it. He says if you can pay for it, I'll let you go, but you can't stay. You'll have a room. So she told them that it's a lie. I never ate it. I'm gonna ask if the person in front is going to do a statement for him. Yeah, I'll talk about it. If she doesn't get it, he says yes. Okay. So let me... Yeah.
Let me get some
I'm gonna
drink.
take a shower in the spa, right?
It's right next to the pool. It's right next to the bar where I was given a Coca-Cola and a burger. And I told her my money isn't going onto my card until 10 p.m. It doesn't go on until that late.
Okay, what
And
did
she
she say?
said, well, she said she closed at 5. Now, I've never found a business doing this, but she went ahead and made that. And then I went to the shower and I asked her if I could. She said I could. And then he started knocking on the shower door, but he was wearing black gloves. And then so was the other one. So I took down some information, I wrote it down about what they were saying, and he started threatening me. And when he started threatening me, I couldn't
What was he
write it
telling
as
you?
clearly. He said that he was going to, that it was fraud, that I was stealing, it was fraudulent, that this is what I was doing. And he said he was going to call you. He was threatening, and he was wearing black gloves. He said he was the security manager, supervisor. He said his name was... I wrote that down.
Yeah, right there.
And his name was... The other one was Decker. But they both had on black gloves, and they took them off before you got here. They were black nitrile gloves. So I asked him why they were wearing black gloves. He said he was going through some bags. So I don't know who he is. He was the one that was at the bar right by the pool that put the burger through, and she also put the soda, the Coca-Cola through. And she said I could also take a shower.
Alright. Did you happen to consume?
Yeah, I ate it, and then I asked her if I could take a shower, and she said I could.
Okay. Did you give us some type of room number to them?
Yeah, I told her that I was shown room 216, and
Who showed you?
it was some woman, she has a rose at her desk, and I think her name is... And the other one, I got her card, but it's in my bag, and it'd take me some time to find it, but she gave me her card. Now, I told them, my money, I live off of the federal FAFSA loan. It's $20,000 that during COVID...
Well, I thought she was drunk, but she ain't drunk. She weird, but she ain't drunk.
And I told her my money doesn't go onto my card until 10 p.m. But now she put something through. I didn't think she'd do that because nobody does that. I wasn't trying to steal or defraud or fraud or anything like that, but when he was threatening me, he had on black gloves, and he doesn't have them on now.
Okay. Just to make everything short and sweet so you can be on your way and we can be on our way. Do you have money to pay for the burger?
No, it's not going to go onto my card until later. It goes onto the card like 8 or 9 or even 10. But that bar was going to close at 5. Now, that might be why she put it through anyway, but I didn't ask her to. She went ahead and did it.
Okay. What management here is saying is that if you pay for the burger and the soda, everything's fine. Otherwise, they're going to have to press charges.
Well, they need to talk with the one who manages that bar over there.
No, they don't have to.
Well, she put it through. I didn't ask her to.
Did you ask for the
I told her I didn't have the money for it. That the money wasn't going to go onto my card until later. And now she put it through anyway. Now I think her thinking was that that bar closes at 5, so I couldn't get a soda or that burger there. And she also said I could take a shower, and I asked her if I could take a shower. And I think she works here. She understood this also. And he said it was, what, $33?
Did you purchase the room?
No, the one who showed me the room, I told her my money goes onto my card at a later time.
Okay, so you never made some type of deposit to stay in that room?
No, not yet.
Okay.
But I told her, the one that was at the bar, I told her I was the room that I was shown. But I told her my money doesn't go onto my card until 10 p.m.
Okay.
Now, she went and made it anyway, so I don't understand how that's my liability or my responsibility, because I didn't ask her to. I told her I didn't have the money yet.
Okay, but
You still got a service, man. You got to pay up.
She said I could take a
You
shower.
you still got to pay up. You used the service, man. You got to pay up.
Yes, I did. I took a shower also. And I asked permission to do that. She said okay.
But you still did, correct?
When I got authorization from a Chica Lodge employee, she was at the door by the floor.
Okay.
So I wrote all of this down before you got here about what went on.
Okay, and I read it while you were showing me who the supervisor was.
Yeah, and also they were wearing black gloves, and they made sure that when you...
What's up? Yeah, examine
They made sure that when, before you got here, that those black gloves were off. And I told the one that lets people in what went on, and I told a couple of other people that work here what went on. And the one that had black gloves on made him leave. He said that, like, they weren't much of anybody to do anything. So...
Okay, so you told the employee that you didn't have money until 10 p.m.
Right. And that's when it would go onto my card.
She made the order and...
Right, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And knowing that she made the order anyways, you still consumed the food and
Well, she went and got it for me. She also let me take a shower.
Okay, the shower's okay. But I'm saying you still consumed the food even knowing that you didn't have money till 10, correct?
Well, she ordered it anyway.
Yes.
I told her I
Yes or no?
Lady.
I ate the burger.
Okay.
But I didn't eat the french fries. Like, I drank the soda, I didn't eat the french fries, but she got it.
Who
for me,
cares? You
french
ate the
fries
food. Pay for what the hell you ate. Just pay for what you ate.
I asked him to give that to me, and I would pay it, and he wouldn't do that. And he was wearing black gloves at the time, and now he's not.
So you have to pay.
So you want to give that to me, and I'll pay it. I'll send the money. I'll send the money to them, and I'll send it to the one that is with Janice Rose.
So this is what we're gonna do, okay? I'm gonna try to see if they let you pay at a later time, but you have to try to pay it tonight, okay?
Okay.
We don't want to have to go looking for you until you go to jail.
Oh, okay, all right.
Okay, I'm trying to prevent that. That's all I'm trying to do.
Okay.
Okay, just give me 1 second. Don't move. So what's going on with this? So she showed up and started clearing her room. What are you doing? You have to actually pay attention.
Sorry.
Just because there's a white ring around that stop sign does not mean it's optional.
I
Okay, my mistake.
This is a road here.
Yeah, I looked on both sides as I thought it was coming.
Stop means stop.
Okay, I missed the sign.
It doesn't mean just go.
Yeah, I missed the sign. Sorry.
Okay.
Hold it, hold it. So she chose to worry about a race over the race. So she said she has some type of photo reminder. Money doesn't come until 10. I told her she has to pay the bill. She said she's willing to pay later. So we can do a report. We notch it down. We have all her information. I can check to see where she lives.
There's no live. There's streets of Key West is our last known address.
Let me make one call. Yeah, more than likely we're gonna go with the latter and go through charges, but I'm not pretty sure she went to the Islanders. I did the same thing. I should have here. She mentioned something up earlier. If that's the case, she's just gonna go to the resorts. Alright. So we'll go ahead and go ahead and publish on the okay? See.
Thank you.
And then I have our employee that's working the bar person. Yeah, we'll get statements from her. Let me call my supervisor, see what we can do. Because I know if they had an address or something like that. Then we
I'll
can
be
make
right
them.
back, y'all.
We do the report, and let's say they're on it, right?
A report of a large boulder in the northbound lane on 905, approximately 5
Story. Copy, I'll be around for that.
1626.
Yeah, then we'll do like a warrant or something like that, but it's transient. Okay, just give me 1 second, okay? We still have to do our investigation. Just waiting on him to finish talking to him. Let us know what we're gonna do. I'll take her. Unless you need one. You gotta take the stop sign? What's that? The car? Take the stop sign? Yeah. Where do you stay now?
Right now, I'd say a place called my parents' house, or
What is your parents' house?
it's up off of Sunset Drive. It's also a place called My Best Family. Yeah, ever since somebody started playing around with my life, like they're doing with you, and they have black gloves on, and now they didn't have them when you showed up.
Okay, what does the gloves have to do with your address?
My name is on those bar products. Now, something is going on down here, and I know it, and I'm trying to tell you. Do you have a camera on you that keeps an eye on you? You do? Okay, now I'm telling you onto that camera. If you want to give me that, I'll pay it. I'll send it to the mail.
So this is where it becomes complicated. You have to pay it now. That's where they're trying to get it.
I already told them I didn't have the money before they made it.
Parking offense.
I understand, but you still consume the beverage and
As a fool, I made it, and what do I do? Walk away?
you could have walked away.
They have my name on those bar products.
You could have walked away and not ate
This
it.
is my name. It's in markings. The FBI already has my prints and my markings. And so does your sheriff's office. So you can see that I'm not lying.
Okay. So where's your parents' address that you stay at now?
It's off of Sunset Drive, near Sunset Point.
No, it's right here.
Sunset Kendall?
Do you have an exact address?
Yes. You want that?
Yeah.
I do have to go to the bathroom soon.
Okay.
But the FBI does have my prints. So the FBI does understand something. Yeah, those investigators.
Julia, 98.
Alright, just give me a second. He'll get the statements from you guys. You get her information. We just need to just put that sheet up back up there. She saw it. Was there cameras in the area where she saw the pool? Okay, that's all good. We'll go ahead and do it. Okay. All right.
Just you had on black gloves before you got here, and before you got here, they took them off.
Okay.
I don't know who they are here, but they might be killers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see a lot of people have black gloves. My name is on those bar products that they serve that food on. That they serve that food on, and they don't have my permission at all to use that, but she put it through. I told her I didn't have the money for it. She did that anyway.
Okay. So, with everything that's going on, there's two options, okay? You can pay now, or they're going to go ahead and press charges. It just depends on you.
What does that mean, press charges?
So if they do press charges,
They
you're
have
going to go
my
to jail.
name under that, what they put the cheeseburger, the fries on, French fries.
Okay, but you still ordered it and you still consumed the food.
No, I
okay?
didn't order it. I told the woman that I had no money. She ordered it.
Okay.
She was at the bar.
And it's just not going to go back and forth anymore? Or do you have the funds to pay for it, yes or no?
Not right now. I told her I'd have it at 10 o'clock.
All right.
Well, you gotta go to jail.
Alright, let's drop this.
Criminal arrest.
Do you have anything is it come on a poker stick me?
No. I'm wearing it. That's too tight.
This one right here?
He's hurting my wrist. That's too tight.
They're not built for comfort.
No, he's putting it, he made it too tight.
He's adjusting it right now. Yep. Alright, I'm going down there with you. Do you have anything in pockets I can put there or stick in?
No, I'm wearing it.
Okay, this is just a question.
I'll to the bathroom soon.
That's fine. You'll go to the bathroom at the jail. Alright. Nothing on you, correct? Should I raise this up?
Don't you think that would poke me if I was
Alright,
wearing
can
it?
you turn around? Okay. I said you're... Alright, you can go.
But don't have the hands handcuffed behind the back, so I have to report you for that.
Okay, you can make a complaint whenever you get out of the jail,
Report
okay?
it. Report it again.
It's in front of you. Let's see what she has in there. 6182. You're good, you're good. Out. Copy, I'm not sure. That's part of my job. Yeah.
A woman entered a hotel room, showered, and charged food to a room she wasn't registered to, refusing to pay the $33 tab. Confronted by staff and security, the situation escalated until she was arrested and ready to be taken to jail.
Yeah, we gotta do statements, but just give me a second. Marty, I can take this to jail, right? I can take this to jail. 6119, I have a feeling because they can't get off the zone.
Stay back from.
Alright, you gotta give me a second.
Also, my seatbelt is not on.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm almost gonna go in my pants.
Like I said, you gotta wait. Yeah. And if you can give him just the case number, the card. I'm gonna put the window down. It gets kind of hot back there, okay? I have it. I put it in the back of my truck. I said truck.
And I need a statement from you and from the bartender. And this is our generic card with a case number.
Everything, sure. And I'll have her write it first and try to watch it.
You want me to pull somewhere else instead of sitting on the street?
Here. police officer forgot to call you. So, just so you can put it on roll call. So basically, she ordered a meal. Okay. Alright, perfect. Do you know the statute for it?
Brought it to me anyway. I told her I didn't have the money to pay for it. I told her the woman
The statute for legal. Yeah, she said that she told her that she didn't have money for it. She's just giving us the
Copy.
Yes.
32 and some change. Can you send it to me on text, please? Alright, thank you. You're going to jail, man.
I'm arresting a criminal because you're getting into a jail. You're a criminal and you're getting away with it. Now, I told whoever else showed up, and I gave them my stuff, not you.
Ma'am, you ate food. You're supposed to pay for the food you eat. Ma'am, shut the hell up.
I adjusted them. Okay, you can report me to the sheriff's office.
Jail. About what I found and how you report that to that other sheriff.
It's a good thing this is almost done.
I can hear you. You're just saying the same thing 4 times. You can report me to the jail and to the sheriff's office, man. That is your right. You got 3 minutes. Can you hold 3 minutes? Mile marker 88. Because I wanted to. Yes. Online.
Welfare check Avenue C is going to be at the entrance of Castaway.
Because that's your property.
This thing here should be done soon.
A deputy?
Copy.
As compared to you, who is he? Why did he show up wholesale?
As a backup unit?
Is that club for somebody having a burger for $33? Is it practice or anything else? Have you run into anything else going on at that lodge? That lodge used to cost $200, now it's $900, $1,000. They had an extremely large safety. Like for a jewel heist, do you know anything about that? Because they didn't pay attention to the notes I wrote. I gave those to the other sheriff.
Once they open up, you'll be able to use yours.
This can take this one ended up in my shorts, and I don't want to put my money on the card yet. That like $20,000 would affect half the loan. Do you know anything about that, Spinazzo?
Nope.
There's an industry here, the legal industry, knows all about it.
Copy for that.
What?
And we're done with that. We are now done. Come on, all right. And this is the next clip.
Disturbing story of child sexual assault. A Florida nurse caught having sexual relations with her teenage stepson as her husband and the boy's father walks in the front door.
I know she was more upon sex when I walked in the door.
I don't know who that was.
We're getting an in-depth look at the case against Alexis Von Yates, a Florida nurse now convicted of having sexual relations with her teenage stepson. And as you'll hear, she allegedly told her friends she did it all because the boy looks like his father when he was younger, and she
Sick
even
bitch.
compared genitalia.
Sick
This
ass
is a disturbing
woman.
story with a lot of elements.
Sick,
So let's
sick,
start with the
sick
basics.
ass woman.
Today's episode of Scandal takes us to Ocala, Florida. It's about 40 minutes south of Gainesville. That's where Alexis worked as a registered nurse and lived with her husband, Frank Yates III, who went by the name David. In summer 2024, David's then 15-year-old son was visiting for a while. He was staying with his father and his stepmother, who was Alexis. And here's where I'll refer to court documents to paint a full picture. Quote, his father worked late hours as a lineman. Late at night on a Thursday or Friday before leaving Florida, the child victim was hanging out with his stepmother while she was taking care of his younger siblings. The younger children brushed their teeth and were put to bed by his stepmother. Around 11 p.m., the two of them began relaxing on the couch, hitting a THC cartridge together while playing a video game. Several hours later, approximately 1 a.m., they decided to watch a movie. Having watched The Terrifier the night before, they decided to watch The Terrifier 2. The movie was boring to the child victim and the suspect as they watched. After the suspect told the child victim it was boring to her, they began to speak to each other about how horny the suspect was because she had not had sex in 2 weeks and she was on her period. The child victim engaged in the conversation as the two of them sat close to each other.
Sick ass woman.
He recalled his adrenaline being quite high.
Sick,
because
sick,
of the
sick
conversation and
ass
sitting close
woman.
to the suspect as he played with her hair. He recalled that the suspect had been making sexual jokes for approximately a week leading up to this incident, continuously saying how horny she was. Thinking about all the statements the suspect had made to him about being horny, he decided to ask her if she wanted to cuddle. He lay on top of the suspect as she laid her head on the armrest of the couch, and she commented something to the effect of, "Oh, you were just going right for it, huh?" And then began to moan. The child victim began to kiss her neck. The suspect and child victim kissed as the suspect began escalating, as the suspect said, "Oh man, I wish you were 18 because you're not old enough." The child victim went down on the suspect. This was clarified by the child victim as being possible due to him pulling the suspect's
Trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning. And ma'am, you're a sick bitch. You're sick.
shorts and panties around her ankles, recalling the suspect kicked them off the rest of the way. Court docs go on to say she would say stop, then the child victim would stop, then she would pull his head back down to her vagina. The suspect then stated the least she could do was give him head, pulling down the child victim's pants and underwear to around his ankles and leaving his shirt on. He clarified that he laid down on the couch as the suspect got on top of him. The suspect told the child victim she likes it from the back, so the child victim began performing more oral. He clarified that she was either referring to her vagina as she or speaking in the third person. Then he fully penetrated the suspect from behind, later clarifying that his penis penetrated her vagina. Then as she requested he do her like this, removing her bra, she turned her body to be in the missionary position as they moved to the other side of the couch. The suspect then got on top of the child victim and rode him from on top. He recalled her moving as he also thrust, telling him she likes when he F's her back. As they were in this position, they heard something in the garage but kept going. Suddenly, the door began, it says begin, it means began. Suddenly, the door began to unlock. The front door is directly in front of the couch. The child victim recalled running to the bathroom with his pants around his ankles as his father entered the home, seeing his wife with no bra on and a blanket covering the lower half of her body. The child victim's father saw the child victim running to the bathroom and yelled, "What the F is going on?" as he threw things. According to court documents, the father yelled at Alexis, calling her a child predator. He, meaning
Which
the
she
child,
is.
also overheard the suspect telling the child victim's father she was sorry, saying the child victim looks like his father when he was younger. The dad went on to ask the boy what happened, saying Alexis told him she begged for the teenager to stop what he was doing, but the boy told his dad that wasn't true. The boy says he heard Alexis moaning and she told the young boy to keep going. According to court documents, the boy had been staying with his father for about a month. This only happened one time. That same time, the father walked in. Now, right away after this, the dad took his son to the grandparents' house, but the boy didn't stop talking to Alexis right away. The day after the incident, the child victim called the suspect on the porch of his grandmother's apartment. During this phone call, the suspect told the child victim she wished his father had not have caught them, saying they could have been edging each other all morning. She commented on not realizing how big it was, saying it looked like his father's penis with younger skin. She asked the suspect how she was on a scale of 1 to 10. She told him that she could tell he had been around the block, giving him a sexual rating of 7 out of 10. As he heard these things, he recalled disassociating and feeling extremely effed up over the entire ordeal. He was unable to eat and would sleep all day. According to these court documents, the boy later told his cousin about this incident, and the cousin actually blamed the boy, saying it was all his fault. The cost of everything is still out of control, and many of us are relying on credit cards to cover the essentials. If that debt is piling up, you're not alone. You might have even considered reaching out to my friends at Financing, but maybe have hesitated because you don't want to give up your low mortgage rate. Well, there is good news. They've created the Smart Equity Loan, which is a solution designed to help you take control of your finances without touching your current mortgage. Unlike a HELOC, which can have varied interest rates, the Smart Equity Loan offers a fixed rate. That means one predictable monthly payment. This loan allows you to leverage the equity in your home to pay off high-interest debt, free up your cash flow, and keep your existing low mortgage rate intact. And it only takes 10 minutes to get started, with no upfront or hidden fees. Call American Financing today. It's 866-886-9262 or americanfinancing.net/scandal. Now, this incident happened in July of 2024, and at first, not that much happened. That is until an anonymous report came in about these allegations. So right away, police in the Department of Children and Families wanted to investigate everything. And on July 30th, 2024, they visited Alexis and David's Ocala, Florida home.
Right now they ain't saying nothing much. Surprisingly. Let me speed this up.
lines, but we don't have any information other than like she was saying that that's what the report said. Which is why we're actually at your house right now. You used to live at the.
And usually,
Yes, sir. We're in this.
and usually when it goes silent, that means either giving out address or victims' names. So that's why when it goes silent like that, that's the reason you guys don't hear it.
Yeah, I are currently sitting in your driveway right now. Actually, we were coming to come talk to you and talk to. But you don't know anything about anything like this? No, and anything I probably wouldn't just say. I know that there's some accusations made. I don't think they're true or not, but... You said there were accusations made? I believe so. Who made the accusations? I believe that. Made the accusations? Okay.
When did he make those accusations? Prior to this?
No.
Okay, so this is all brand new. So there's nothing prior that he mentioned.
No.
Okay. Okay.
You can hear in this recording David is a bit standoffish. He wants to know where these accusations are coming from.
But you're thinking it might have come from.
I really honestly have no idea who it is. Something like that. You know, it's a really bizarre, embarrassing scenario that I don't even entertain. What accusations make? I'm not sure. I'll probably get a lawyer before I say anything else. Well, you're not under investigation right now, I mean, or no one's really under investigation. It's just a matter of this report came in.
Why would you need a lawyer if you didn't do shit?
It's an ominous report. Gonna have to get seen regardless to speak to him, and then once that's done, it's a matter of either determining whether the claims are founded or unfounded. And from what you're saying, it's more than likely unfounded. I believe so. Right. I mean, if you don't want to tell me, you don't want to tell me, but it go a long ways as far as helping us figure out if we can write down what told you, and then we can go to and it says, oh, I didn't make that report, gives us verbatim what you're telling me he told you. We can kind of rule it out and kind of say, okay, well, I made this report, if you know what I mean. Right. Yeah, I understand that. I'm sitting here thinking to myself, now it's working. My heart's racing a little bit, but I think that the implications that can come with this, I don't believe that anything happens. Okay.
But the key factor is it mentioned that you walked in on them when they were on the couch.
No, I did not see any type of physical action whatsoever.
Okay.
So, like I said, he said, got a very messy.
Why is he lying? The thing just said you saw them in the act. Now you're saying you didn't see him in the act.
Some pretty crazy stuff. So, his mom's on my medication. I'm not even on birth certificate or anything. It's just a kid I was trying to help out from a past relationship.
Okay.
And unfortunately, it's just kind of
while he was with you, were there any behaviors that were concerning or stood out, negatively when he was here?
Just kind of like lying into his behavior, I guess you could say.
Okay.
Yeah, just kind of.
Was there any kind of discipline while he was here?
No, I didn't discipline at all. I just tried to die.
Okay.
As best I could help. Yeah.
So it's not like he got in trouble here and then went home and said he got in trouble, that type of thing, to warrant anything against you. Okay.
Investigators
does their normal relationship look like?
Just kind of it's like I said, it's not your typical situation. I wouldn't say they have a very close relationship.
They had a close relationship, you said? Or they don't have a close relationship.
Honestly, David doesn't give much information in this recording. The
He
next
don't.
time he speaks to investigators, he's still pretty standoffish.
Sorry to bother you. Do you have a moment to talk?
I get it.
I'll be back in a second.
So, I've talked to quite a few people. I think you probably know what I'm calling about.
Yes, sir.
It's my understanding that you, though you weren't wanting to talk about it at the time that the Department of Children and Families came by, you were willing to talk about the incident. Should your son go on record about it? He's gone on record in some detail. I was really hoping that I could, no matter how painful, or difficult it is to talk about, I was wondering if I could speak with you about what happened that night.
So, as far as right now, is that like something that's like an official or on the record type thing, or?
What do you mean? Oh, no, I'm not gonna swear you in front of me or anything. I did want to talk about what happened though.
Right, but I mean, is it like a recorded statement, or?
I would be documenting what he said, for sure.
This recording came in a few months after the initial call on November 6th, 2024, and even at this point, David still seems like he doesn't want to speak with investigators.
I mean, all you can say is the truth. I think that is the most important thing.
Right.
I mean, what happened the last night that your son was in your home?
So basically I came home after working a night shift, and I walked in and seen someone in a compromising position. And I did this thing like, definitive, I guess you could say. And she has her story, and I can't really say. It's just going off of what she said kind of stuff. So,
Did she have clothes on?
at the time, no.
Okay. Was he in the room when you walked in?
Yes.
Did he have clothes on?
Yes.
Fully clothed, or?
It happened really quick. I wasn't really, obviously you don't expect to come home to anything like that.
Absolutely. No, and I understand for so many reasons why this is such an uncomfortable conversation. The last thing I want to do is, make people uncomfortable, but unfortunately in situations like this, it's really important.
Right.
I mean, I don't need to tell you that. I know you're a grown man, you understand that, but,
Yes, sir. Yeah, I mean, that's basically all I can say. I know she has a lawyer and, is fully aware of the accusations and whatnot, so.
But I want to make sure I understand. I mean, what is her story that she told you?
Basically, that she was in a towel, went out to the living room to get her phone late at night, and he had, ripped a towel off of her, and that's when I came inside. Calling that small window there, I guess you could say.
Okay. It's my understanding she told some other people a different story.
I've seen her see the
Do you know
light.
anything about maybe other statements she would have made?
Yes, across the road.
Do you have
The biggest thing is if something is to, basically I don't want to be in a situation where I'm being, I don't know what you would say, accused, or I have 2 small kids, I'm sure you know. If something was to happen to her, I don't, I would be the only parent. I don't want to obviously have myself in any type of trouble. I did nothing wrong, but I don't.
Yeah, I'm not investigating you for a crime. I just.
Right, I know, but as far as like not saying something, or I don't know how this all works or anything like that, but
If it turns out that, you know, I get down the road and I find out that you've, you know, point blank, you know, intimidated him to not press charges or anything like that, that would be an issue, right? But as far as you not telling me what happened, I mean, though, or at least not wanting to tell me, you know, everything in full detail, I find that a little concerning, but it's not necessarily against the law. I think what's most important for everybody would be to just tell the truth, the full truth from the beginning.
What struck me most about this recording is the way that David was very reluctant to give any information about these allegations against his wife and the alleged abuse of his son.
It's my understanding there was a little bit more of a conversation that occurred between the two of you that night, where she told you a little bit more than that.
as far as Alexis telling me something?
Yes, during the argument that ensued when you got home.
Right, and that was basically me asking what the hell's going on, and you know, like I said, going back and forth was like he said, she said stuff.
So she didn't
so
apologize.
It's kind of like who do you believe at that point, I guess?
So she didn't apologize to you and make statements along the lines of, you know, that she was sorry and that he looks like you?
Oh, yeah. It's just like public record, or...
So, in cases where investigations of sexual, you know, unlawful sexual activity with minors, there's laws protecting, you know, their information from being public record.
I mean, as far as like statements go.
As far as yeah, their information, you know, being involved, and where he's directly involved with the incident, that would be, you know, not public record.
Right. As far as like if it was to go to court or something, you know, I don't, you know, I know you understand the situation fully well.
I'm not being embarrassed.
Thing.
I think that I can understand why you have cognitive dissonance about this, why losing her would represent a major upset in your life, not just as far as like your emotions, but you know, the kids and everything that represents. But
exactly, and that's the big thing right there. I
What
mean,
is wrong with this dude?
The consequences that's going to have for my small, you know, children. So, and that's basically, you know, where I have been with this whole situation.
Sir, you failed your kid. You have completely failed your kid.
Man, I really think maybe I should speak with a lawyer or something.
Even though David wasn't super forthcoming, investigators had enough information to move forward with the case against Alexis. So on that same day, November 6th, 2024, they paid her a visit.
yeah, hey, I'm particular officer with Sheriff Thomas. Are you Alexis?
Yes.
Yes, I want to speak with you.
Okay.
Have a moment. Are you going to come speak with me?
Oh, my kid's sleeping. I just got woke up and I gotta get him to school. Like, you know, what's this about? He works out of town.
Oh, is he out of town?
Yeah.
Shoot.
Why, what's going on?
Yeah, I'm not quite exactly sure, you know, all the details right now, but there was something I was hoping to speak with you about. Something to watch the kids, maybe? Are we calling?
Not really. I had my mom watch the kids like Monday, Tuesdays, and I just got off work. I'm a nurse. So I just got off work like last night. So I just was getting my sleep. Does this have to do with, I already have a lawyer. Is this about,
I think everybody deserves to get those better things.
okay. I really, talk to anybody about it.
He's not placed under arrest for serious battery. We'll figure out some kids. And I'll be right back.
When Alexis hears she's going to be arrested, she suddenly has a lot of questions.
Nobody was here at all. It was me watching our kids and a child made words.
There was something you said there, and I want to be sure. Okay, because you don't want to talk to me about the second. You told me that you don't want to talk to me about the
Because it's so disruptive to my everyday life, all the way down to my children. I don't want to leave my children.
I'm not going to say that you're racist. If I find a racist, I put a warrant out for it, and I want to talk to you about it, right? But I have to be clear before going further, because you have said you really want to talk to me about a word.
I just think it's just so, what is going on here is just so out of, it's just so regarding me. I can't even.
And that's why I really wanted to hear your side of things, but unfortunately, you can't get a word out to me. So I'm not going to talk to you about it if you don't want to talk to me.
So, in order to talk to you about it, I have to talk to you without my lawyer.
No.
And I'm like,
Not going to talk about it. You'd rather have a lawyer, but I'm not expecting it.
so what do we do now then?
We're going to figure out someone that can come up here, but you are going to be put under arrest now. I want to make sure we give you some dignity. Sir, I can't have you, when I put someone under arrest, we can't just let you walk around free. I'll be here, let them know. Okay. Can we put you back in the car now, and we'll have her get you a robe or something when she gets here?
Can I just ask you what is going to happen now? Because at this point, I truly thought DCF came here and they went through everything with me. And at that time, it was just so embarrassing and unbelievable what was going on. And I received a letter, and they were saying, we are done with your case. You can rest easy. And I know that that's what's
Give me a moment to bring the vehicle closer so you're not seen by
I just feel like I'm throw up at any moment.
Yeah, I think you have every right to be frustrated.
I'm not frustrated. There's a lot of things. I'm honestly, it's truly unbelievable. I don't know. There's frustration is one with the kid. What has been said, I just can't believe the amount of disadvantage that has been. But what I'm saying is, so I know you guys are different departments. So
they're not law enforcement. They're just civil entity that has to deal with children,
right,
and families, and elderly.
Okay.
And so we are the law enforcement agency. Have a completely different role. So their role would be to determine, and again, this is just speaking not about your case. This is speaking generally about just how we work. Their role is to determine if there's dangers to children, immediately present, see if there's action has been taken, hold them to occasional officer services, question law enforcement, investigate violations of statutes. We do often work hand in hand. I can understand why that would be a little confusing. Again, I want to respect your right, and I don't want to talk to you more about this. You keep trying to talk to me about it. I'm not trying to do it. I just really am trying to respect you. That's all I'm trying to do. I know that this whole process just feels disrespectful. In general, being arrested, right? Not being free to leave, being taken somewhere you didn't want to go, have someone come here. But it's a process we have to do. It's not like, everyone wants to be, dragging everybody through all this. It's the process. So I appreciate your patience in the meantime.
Alexis was initially charged with sexual battery on a person 12 to 18 years of age
As it should have been.
in familial custody. And after the charge came down, more people started talking, including her husband, David. On December 5th, 2024, David once again spoke with police, and this time, it's pretty straightforward.
I just want to tell the truth, it's really all we can do. So basically,
He's a damn cough medicine.
I could get into quite a bit of detail about everything, but that would be helpful, but I'm not going to force you to do anything you don't want to do. Seriously, my son had been not part of my life for quite a while. And when he did get into my life, he was probably around 11 years old. I had tried my best to help him in the way I could, and kind of be a dad as much as I could, considering what happened before. But one thing I wanted to point out was before this had happened, she had a very negative attitude towards him. Very basically didn't want him to be here. When we would talk about him coming down, it was, can you do your movie? Can you do your movie? It's not too.
And to the dad, you still failed your kid. Screw you. Screw you. You failed your kid.
Not for the whole summer, of course. I was like off the table. Let's see. And then, so he was here for I think about 3 weeks. He was supposed to go home. She was basically wanting him to stay another week longer, which I thought was very odd. There was a lot of things that I thought that was very odd in that last week. As far as all of a sudden how she flipped the switch to like how she learned what was going on. I had an uncomfortable feeling in my gut about it. So did other people. Just because of the negativity towards him? Right, and then all of a sudden it's okay. That's why he was there that last week, was basically because she wanted him to stay another week, which was completely opposite of how she had that attitude previously. And then on top of that, she started talking about him moving down here, which completely blew my mind. I was like, all we talked about was my heartbreak, but you're here now. That wasn't a month ago, you didn't want to come here at all, and now you want to potentially move here. Just saying odd things like, if you go to high school here, you'll get so many girls, and you're sitting with my mom, and all this stuff like that. There was just a lot of different things that gave me like bad gut feelings. Yeah, that's, I hadn't heard any of that. That's a bit odd. Yeah. Okay. And then, basically, I would say that when I came home and I saw what I saw, I wasn't as shocked as you would think that I would be. And I guess basically because of her 4 o'clock in her attitude. And especially saying stuff about him like being down here. Some inappropriate comments that I'm saying around him. Just beyond that he's good looking and he'll get all the girls, or was that pretty much it? Yeah, I mean, no, it was, I guess just kind of being inappropriate, like stuff you wouldn't say around 15. Can you think of an example? It's okay if you can. She referred to something, I think we may have been watching TV, and something about giving her a gun or something like that. Okay, yeah. And I was like, what are you talking about?
According to David, his teen son was only staying with him temporarily on summer vacation. He was supposed to go home, but both the young boy and Alexis actually asked if he could stay longer, so David agreed. Meanwhile, David was working a lot of late nights, so he got home rather late, and that's what happened the night he walked in on Alexis and his son.
I came in, very quiet, I'm not trying to wake up my kids. So I go into our garage door, very quietly close the door, unlock the door, quietly twist the handle. I walk in, I look over to my left, and I see her sitting down, her boobs are out, she's naked, and
to see, like, his penis?
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
You know, he obviously don't want me to enjoy like,
Oh, of course.
you know,
Yeah.
so, and then he immediately, what I think is after a few blows, but it's kind of like he pulled his pants a little bit and then jumped out to the bathroom. And then we heard her, and immediately went, obviously I see her breasts are out, and I'm like, what the is going on? I would say that probably 20 different times, like, what the going on? She has this stupid expression on her face, just like expression on her face. Doesn't say anything. Tell me what's going on. She's waiting for her to talk to her laugh. I go over there and I'm basically like, sure as you got, she's not naked. And so I walk over to her. Still, she's also feeling a little bit on her face. I snatched my cup for her laugh and she was butt. At that point, I'm like, just shocked. I know basically that something's been going on. So he comes out of the bathroom at this point. We're talking about stuff that's going on. I don't think she was really saying anything. And I said, I need you to come outside of here and something. I'm like, I bring out there and basically like, please God, like, told me exactly what's going on, exactly what happened because I don't know everything that happened. He proceeded to tell me that they had both had oral sex on each other. I felt like he was still hiding stuff. At that point, she's kind of coming back and forth outside the house to talk to me. And, you know, I'm obviously not wanting anything to do with her. And the one thing that like struck me the most when this was all happening was she tried to come out there and basically say that it wasn't as bad as it would to her. And I looked right at her and I said, you sucked his dick. And she looked right at me and like said, oh, I forgot who did that. That was exactly what she said. You know, that's what first my dad said. It's just been a huge unfortunate circumstance, which I regret the fact that I didn't just call the cops immediately.
Well, you removed him from the situation. And, I mean, in situations like this, I don't think anybody can ever truly understand the psychological toll and shock factor of what you witnessed.
Hell no.
The most important thing that I see about that is, again, that you removed him from the situation.
Thank God.
No matter what those circumstances were, no matter, you know, what arguments were had along the way, he was removed from, you know, access to her.
Alexis made some concerning statements about all of this to her husband as well.
Did she make any statements to you about why it happened?
Yeah, she said multiple times she's told me how much is okay.
Just generally or specifically?
No, what she had told me was that it was kind of dark and that it looked so much like type of thing. I know what she said to the other girls.
Okay, but she never made any comments about his anatomy or anything like that?
No, not to me.
Okay.
Obviously, she had told the other girls that confronted her about that many times, and she basically said, which I knew that she wasn't doing it in like a braggadocious way, she was doing it in a way that was trying to defend her actions and what she did. Because he was saying, besides his penis, blah, 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 you know, like basically like he's seen older and more mature than he was.
These really disturbing statements were made to other people too, including Alexis's sister-in-law, who sat down with police for an interview.
Predator, I can't believe they didn't give her bail. Sick. So when I found out about everything, my husband told me. I was sitting on the couch and he was like, Dave caught Alexis with her. And I looked and I'm like, I couldn't believe it. I kept waiting for him to say, oh, I'm joking. No, I'm just joking. And then that never came. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, there's no way. And Alexis being my sister-in-law, we were close for 6 years.
That's all I
I've been married about 3 months. I've been married about 6, but probably serious stuff. But so I made myself. But I made a phone and called her, and I kind of acted like bestie friends with her because I'm like, I want to find out what happened. You know, sometimes when you play that card, when you're a detective, you play that card along on your side to kind of see what they say. You know, and I didn't want to come off too judgmental because I haven't heard him close up. And once again, that's all wrong. But I'm like, what the happened? You know? Because my husband, he doesn't ever know anything. He doesn't ask questions, which is probably good for him. He's not here right now.
You're right.
But anyway, so I called her and I just was like, hey. And she's like, hey, girl. And I'm like, so what happened? Like, well, she's like, she's saying something about how, like, Dave was working a lot, she's just lonely, and how she just, I don't know, like, she just started going into detail about, like, how it all happened, and like, I don't remember exactly specifically what she said, but she just said it ended up, like, first she said that she just went down on him, she gave him head, and then I started kind of like, oh, like, joking, like, you know, oh, what did you guys, 69 or something? And she's like, oh, well, that kid's ruining my life. That's what she said. And then I was like, well, how did it get to, like, that point, like, you guys doing things? And she's like, well, it just kind of happened. He's so cute. He reminds me of a little Dave. And so it's the attraction's already there. He's like Dave, but
You're a weird bitch.
and he's got game, and he made me so wet. And
This is
so
weird.
much fun, and his was so big.
The
It was
fuck?
like Dave's. It was weird. Like, it was weirder than she was saying to me. And like, I'm on the phone, like, trying to process this. This someone you know forever, and they're telling me that they kid. And then she goes on and says, this Dave and his son and Dave's cousin, they all, like, the genes are strong. They all resemble each other. And
I'm
she made a
back.
comment saying that she should have Dave's cousin, because then at least he would have been of age, so it would have been better. That's what she said to me. She said at least it would have
It's
been better.
weird.
Yeah, this kid's trying to ruin my life and all this
Weird
shit.
ass
Like,
bitch.
damn, like, that's insane. And like, I ended the phone call and I'm just kind of like, what the do I do with this information? And she told me to have confidence. I said, well, she told me she has sex with a kid, like, confidence. And by the time I figured everything out, like, it was already reported. Everything was already, so like, I was just like, what the f***? And he said, well, she told me that confidence. And I'm like, but it's not like she told me, if she told me she f***ed a 45-year-old, I would have kept that a secret. You know what I mean? So I told Dave immediately, and I was like, she just told me all this and all this stuff, and I'd be a game, because so big, and just weird.
I understand what kind of position this puts you in.
Bitch weird.
I appreciate the fact that you know that there's a child who can't stand up for themselves.
Yeah, he's gonna try to make a pass on me. He's not. He's a very respectful, you know, he's a teenager, he's gonna have those little teenage quirks, whatever, but he's a respectful kid. He's never been weird to me. He's never, you know, approached me awkwardly.
But let's say he did, as a reasonable person.
I'd say, get the away from me, dude. Get the go in your room.
Well, as a reasonable person, if a 15-year-old and a 33-year-old engaged in consensual sexual activities fall within
The adult, 100%.
in our society, if the genders were reversed, they look at it much differently.
Yeah, I was shocked they didn't give her bail. If I was a man, and then the fact that she's allowed to be her own children, she's been up at my kid's school, it makes me sick. You know, that she can even be up there. And I completely agree because, like, my father-in-law, her back is going, well, what kid doesn't want to with stepmom? I said, but what stepmom a kiddo? Especially, like, I mean, I don't know how much you know about David and his situation. They just recently reunited a couple of years ago. And my thing is, like, that kid's never had guidance. He's never had a father figure. Then he comes down and he's expecting, you know, he needed that guidance. He didn't need her to take advantage of it and take advantage of his hormones. And then what, now you ruined his whole, he doesn't have the forethought to think about the consequences. She ruined the relationship with him and his dad. She ruined, he's got siblings by her. Like, you ruined that whole relationship.
That's what makes it so hard for Dave, I'm sure.
God, I think you're nice to me, Dave.
According to investigators, there was a decent amount of evidence against Alexis, including some texts to her sister-in-law.
She told me on the phone, not like she told me what happened on the phone, and that's why she was mad that I told Dave. She was basically saying that she told me that in confidence, and I'm like, I'm sorry, but you don't tell me that in confidence. Like, no, like, and Dave deserved to know, because Dave's a great guy. He's always been good to her, and she treats him like and then she's gonna go and do this. Like, it's just absolutely terrible. And then her dad kept. This was not the end. Her freaking dad would kept texting me, telling me that I'm ruining the family, and I did it. And he'd be like, "That kid's walking around waving his around, and what do you expect?" I said, "What the?" I said, "Don't ever text me about a kid ever again." And I blocked his because I said, "I'm not dealing with that." That's your kid. This is probably weird for you. I said,
You weird ass motherfuckers.
he's way too emotional. It's a tough situation. It is. It makes me sick. It's not good. It runs in your heartstrings, for sure. It does, because that kid deserves someone to stand up for him, and then from what I freaking, like, her saying stuff like, oh, that kid ruined my life, you ruined my life, and this and that, like, no, like, you ruined his life, if anything, like, because he's going to be psychologically up from this, and then you're going to take him to court, and call him a liar. You know what I mean? How traumatizing for this kid. Never had his dad, and you ruined that relationship. You know, but I'm just looking at it. But, it's just so wrong for me. And then the fact she just walks around like she did nothing wrong. Like, it bothers me. According to other police interviews, Alexis told her friends and co-workers about this situation too.
I still can't even, like, when I look at her, oh my god, like, I look at her different. I was just like, it's still so unbelievable that she could do something.
This recording is of Alexis's friend and co-worker, Mercedes, who interviewed with police in December of 2024.
Like, I had asked her, if they had had sex or anything like that. She, you know.
She commented about his body at all?
Yes.
What did she say?
Yeah. That it reminded her of Dave, and that the boy had been making, like, advances, like, kind of hitting on her through the week prior. So I pretty much asked her, like, why were you even hanging out that late, yeah, with him? So,
Did you tell me what time it was in the night?
she said it was late, like midnight or so.
Okay.
So I don't know why, you know, I don't know.
Do you remember about when it was that she was talking to you?
It was the Sunday after it happened, so I think I don't want to give exact dates. I know it was Sunday because I was camping on Saturday and she was with Dave, her husband. I think it happened Friday night or Thursday night.
Mercedes explains to investigators how she knows Alexis in the first place and says this is not something she ever expected, especially from a mom.
So I went to high school with her, but it wasn't a relationship. It was like we knew of each other, right? So then our husbands have known each other and been best friends since high school. We didn't start hanging out and developing a relationship until we both got pregnant with our sons. So me and Megan, you met her yesterday. Me and Megan and Alexis, we all were pregnant at the same time. So that's how we all connected. So, like, I know her as a mom, you know what I mean?
But Mercedes was specific with investigators, explaining what Alexis said about the young boy.
The specific thing was she told me that he had a big penis. I don't know. Then she told me that it was oral only, and I asked if they had sex because that would be absolutely unforgivable to her husband. Not saying the other stuff is, but it's like she was kind of a wreck at work, and I was in shock, and then I'm trying to take care of 6 patients at the same time. I mean, it's 7:30 in the morning. We had just been on shift. So I'm like, and whenever she told me, I was like, I'm like, who? Like, what? Because I met him before. So it's,
What was your impression of him when you met him?
I mean, he's a kid. I don't know. I didn't No. He's a nice gentleman. He was polite. Yes.
Father was very kind.
Yeah, there was nothing like that stood out that was.
So you had this initial conversation at work.
Yes.
So that would have been on the Sunday or the Monday?
Sunday.
The comments you told me about, she said that she didn't have sex, it's just oral. Did she go into whose idea it was? Not that it's necessary.
Yeah. She was saying it was his, that he was like pressing her for the past week. She couldn't believe that she did that and all that stuff.
Did she tell you this as a result of you asking her about why she was trying to fight her husband? Or did she?
That's how it started, I'm pretty sure. I'm like, you're looking for Dave? And she's like, yes. And then that's how it started.
Okay. So just kind of.
And she told me then, because she was telling me she was freaking out, that the family was trying to ruin her life, that his mom and his sister were reporting it, and all that. So it was already escalated by Sunday, I guess, because I think the boy left it Saturday.
At this point, there had already been some news coverage of the case, and Alexis apparently had some thoughts about that too.
And I know it's uncomfortable, and I know that you never did deserve being broken in all this.
Well, that's what it's upsetting, is like, it's hard to believe still. Our relationship hasn't been the same, and it's hard to look at her, but.
So did she talk to you after this article came out yesterday?
I told her it was out.
Okay, what did she say?
That it was a lie, and she can't believe she can't get justice for herself before they put this out, things like that. Because our kids all go to the same school, so I didn't know if she wanted to go to the program knowing that this article came out an hour and a half prior.
So she.
And I also told her I was going to talk to you because I thought she should know that.
Okay.
I didn't tell her about what or anything. She called me, but I didn't call her back. But I thought she should know what, and I'm not. Well, and it's like, hey, I'm gonna talk to him, and basically I'm gonna just tell him the truth.
What was her reaction to that?
I said, there's a detective coming, and I want you to know. And she said they want to talk to you about stuff you don't even know about, and it's all a lie, blah, blah, blah. That was her reaction.
In August of this year, Alexis reached a plea deal, pleading no contest to a lesser charge of lewd and lascivious battery. She was sentenced to 2 years behind bars.
That's
After
it?
that, she must serve 200 hours of community service and face 10 years of a sex offender probation. On top
That's
of all of
it?
this, she's ordered no contact with the young victim. At the sentencing hearing, the victim's mother called Alexis an incestuous pedophile, alleging that Alexis groomed the teenage boy. His mother also noted that the boy's father hasn't spoken to him since the incident. That's where today's episode of Scandal leaves us for now. For the latest updates in this case, all things true crime, make sure to subscribe to.
We were planning our anniversary trip. Someone tried to.
And this here is another clip that I have for you guys. And this one here is from Ashley Banfield. I think it's called Ashley Banfield Drop Dead Serious. Let's get it.
Open a loan in my name in a state I've never even been to before.
Hey everybody, I'm Ashley Banfield and this is Drop Dead Serious. Well, a federal judge just brought the hammer down on Sean Diddy Combs today for those prostitution charges that he was convicted of this summer. He brought the hammer down, but he didn't bring a sledgehammer down. Remember that Diddy skated on those really serious charges of sex trafficking, and RICO could have put him in the pokey for, decades, but the jury acquitted him of those. He did get hit with 2 counts of the Mann Act. That's basically ferrying people across state lines for the purpose of prostitution, and he had to pay the piper on those today, sentencing day. Judge Aaron Subramanian, federal judge, gave him 50 months, 5-0, That's 4 years and 2 months behind bars. But here's the math on this, and that's what really matters here. You can always get a sentence, but there's always magic, right? With 15% credit, and with the 13 months that he's already served while he's been awaiting
And
trial
this hit one here is going to be a
he will
last clip
effectively walk out in
for this
just over 2
stream.
years. 31 and a half months, to be exact. As long as he keeps his nose clean, right? You don't get that 15% credit if you're an asshole. If you do a bunch of bad stuff, like if he's caught with a cell phone, if he's doing naughty things, if he's caught with drugs, yeah, you don't get that. But if he does everything right, it just could be a little over 2 years more than he would basically have to serve. He's also been hit with a $500,000 fine. So that's not nothing, right? $500,000. But I am going to tell you this. In the billionaires' world, and particularly in Diddy's world, $500,000 is like a short yacht charter. It's like chump change. It really isn't a lot. But make no mistake, this wasn't just about the numbers. Judge Subramanian lit into Diddy in a way that you almost never hear from the bench. He read a quote from one of Diddy's victims saying that Diddy told her to do something really, really filthy. And I want to remind you as I read this that this is a judge reading this quote in open court. So what I'm about to say is actually the judge saying this. This is like unheard of. But the victim is saying that Diddy told her to, quote, take this pill, go out there and suck his dick. Fuck him. I don't care. That is...
Viewer discretion is
The judge is
advised.
quoting a victim, but the judge said those words in open court. And then the judge said, flat out, the court is not convinced this wouldn't happen again. And when Diddy finally had his chance to speak, he called his own behavior shameful and sickening and disgusting. Good for him. Finally acknowledging something that he did not acknowledge when he was at trial, right? Even after the verdicts were handed down. He also didn't acknowledge it in the super slick video that he played in court today while begging the judge for mercy, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. I'm recording this podcast on October 3rd, and if you didn't know this, October 3rd is one of the biggest days in true crime history. Long before Sean Diddy Combs faced the music in federal court and found out his sentence. It's a big anniversary for 30 years, to be exact, because on this date, in 1995, a jury in Los Angeles found O.J. Simpson not guilty of murdering his ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and Nicole's friend, Ron Goldman. Let me tell you something. Every time this anniversary rolls around, October 3rd, it reminds me, oh, right, I'm X number of years in the United States. Because I got here 30 years ago this week. I basically arrived and checked in at my new job at a local TV station in Dallas, Texas, and suddenly it was time for the OJ verdict. And I remember it was like one of my first big assignments, if not the first. And so it's kind of the moment that I mark. So here we are. I can't believe it.
Your knee pain keeps coming back, and the easiest way to fix it without pills, shots, or surgery. I'm going to show you something about your knee that
I can't believe it's been 30 years, and I'm sure that there are a lot of other people who say that more than I do. This was a verdict that rocked the nation, both for and against OJ. And frankly, we're still coming to grips with what OJ taught us about fame and power and justice. Earlier on my News Nation show, shout out News Nation, I got a show called Banfield, 10 o'clock Eastern. I sat down with a woman who carries the OJ trial and the OJ verdict in her heart every single day. Her name is Kim Goldman. She's Ron Goldman's sister, and I'm going to play you that conversation in just a little bit. She certainly had something to say about how far we've come in 30 years when it comes to punishing domestic abusers, because that judge gave Diddy 50 months in federal prison. That ain't nothing. But is it something? One thing I will say is that it must have come as a real surprise to Diddy, because he was already booking speaking engagements in Miami for next week. Let that sink in. Let me repeat it. Diddy was booking appearances in Miami next week. So I figure he was just thinking he was going through the motions today, right? Those aren't going to happen, Diddy. I got more on that too in just a second. But first, sentencing day. While Diddy skated in July on the more serious RICO and sex trafficking charges, he paid the price for his 2 guilty verdicts today. The feds were pushing for more than 11 years. But Team Diddy asked for no more than 14 months. And I think Diddy was expecting he wouldn't even get that. And since Diddy's already been locked up for just over 12, it would have given him, I guess, a few weeks to pack up his cell at the Brooklyn Detention Center before resuming his life and moving freely about the cabin. The 50-month sentence, though, means 4 years, 2 months, and give him credit for, time served, plus the good behavior he accrues. He's looking at a little over 2 years in a federal pen somewhere. We do not know where. Not yet. And it is really too bad that federal proceedings are televised, because that was some damn salty stuff in that courtroom today. His lawyers insisted those freak-offs were no more than consensual adults doing adult activities. But the judge blasted back, saying that was, quote, flatly inconsistent with both reality and the acceptance of responsibility. And yeah, while Diddy did acknowledge that his behavior was disgusting and shameful and sick, as I said, he also said he's lost his career and his business and his reputation, but not apparently his family, because Diddy's 6 grown children spoke up for him in court today briefly. And the defense team played a not-so-brief and really highly produced video portraying their client as a doting father and a generous mentor, basically an all-around paragon of virtue. Diddy sobbed and sobbed as that infomercial played. But before I play that infomercial for you, and let me tell you, it is worth seeing, because I don't know what they were thinking. I work in television, I produce videos, and I don't know what they were thinking playing that thing for an audience of 1, the judge. Because this judge is no dummy, right? He can't be swayed by a slickly produced video. Wait till you see it, you can be the judge of that. Before I play it for you, though, I do want to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And also, Atlas, he thanks you very much, even though, as I always say, he is barely awake. I know he loves having you. I know he loves that I'm in the studio with you because he gets the best naps ever. But it's really important that you're here with me and we have this community. I would not be doing this without you. I also want to give a special shout out to my sponsors, because I wouldn't be able to do it without them either, like Incogni. I cover some of the darkest crimes out there, y'all, but let me tell you, some of the scariest stuff is happening quietly, like right behind the screen you're watching right now. Your name and your phone number and your home address all floating out there online, and it's not because you gave it to anybody. Somebody sold it. Data brokers are tracking you. They know what you buy, they know what you search, they know what meds you take, they even know where your kids go to school. Ew. And now with AI, it's like handing a loaded weapon to a scammer. The imposter scams are on the rise. I get hit with them daily. I don't know about you, but I go mad with my inbox. They use AI to fake voices of your friends or your family, 1 phone call, and suddenly you're wiring money to somebody who sounds exactly like your child or your mom. This is pretty chilling stuff, but here's what most people don't know. You actually have the legal right to make data brokers delete your information. The problem is doing it yourself could take years, and that's why I use Incogni to do it for me. They do the dirty work, they go straight to these companies, and they demand that they remove your personal data. They even offer a custom plan, unlimited. You can flag a site that's exposing your info, and Incogni's privacy team goes after it directly. It isn't just peace of mind, this is power, y'all. So if privacy matters to you like it does to me, and it should, go to incogni.com/dropdead and use my code, DROPDEAD, because I can get you 60% off. 60. So again, that's incogni.com/dropdead. To get your 60% off and start taking your data off the market today. Okay, back to Diddy. And the total infomercial that Diddy's team produced and submitted in federal court. It was so slick it was almost embarrassing. And one federal prosecutor that I talked to today said it might not exactly have served his purpose with the judge, but instead maybe done the exact opposite. I don't know. You decide. Take a look.
On carparts.com, you get access to over 1 million quality parts.
No, that's my speed.
opposite. I don't know. You decide. Take a look.
What are you giving to the world? I bet you know, man.
I've looked up to you and admired you. Outside of you just being my father, just you being just a great human being, a kind human being. I love how you inspire me to keep going, to never stop following my dreams, though to believe in myself.
See your foot, put in that middle part.
I wanted to tell you how much I love you, how much I care for you. Thank you for being so supportive of me and my siblings' dreams, for always encouraging us to go for whatever we want. We love you. We can't wait to get memories of you. And so I thank you for everything you do, guys. Yes. And your love, more than you guys.
I had a Phillies trophy. I don't want the best person trophy. But I know, yeah, in order for me to get in there, I'm not gonna get in there, well, come on in heaven, you had 20 hit records. That don't mean nothing. And that's what this world is for. They're gonna say, oh, come on in heaven, he was a nice person.
I love you.
I love you so much.
I love you so much. I love you so much.
Hi, Daddy.
And about those personal appearances that Diddy thought that he'd be at next week in Florida. I'm sorry, I have to giggle. A, because I didn't think he was going to be walking out today. And if I were his lawyers, I never ever would have suggested you're going to be walking out today. And if I were his lawyers, if I'd known about him booking appearances in Miami, I'd have clocked him. Because the prosecutors got their hands on it. And they used it in court against him to the judge. They actually said, hey, judge, this fella
Idiot.
thinks he's going to Miami next week. And here's the quote they used: the height of hubris. That's what the prosecutor said. And I agree. Plus the height of stupidity. For the young folks in the crowd, believe it or not, there was a time when television was a dominant force in our culture. And by dominant, I mean that when the jury returned its verdict in O.J. Simpson's double murder trial 30 years ago today, as I record this on October 3rd, it was unbelievable. 150 million people tuned in to that verdict. 150 million people. That, by the way, folks, is like half of the U.S. population back then. Oprah even covered it live with her studio audience. You have to see what it looked like. Take a look.
And so we wait. Are you nervous?
Yeah.
Who's nervous? Is anybody nervous?
All right, Mrs. Robertson.
Oprah
Would
Winfrey.
you have the envelope with the seal break, please? All right, would you give this to Deputy Crown?
Be still my heart.
All right, Mr. Coggins, your Simpson, would you please stand and face the jury? Mrs. Robinson.
Superior Court of California, County of Los Angeles, in the matter of the people of the state of California versus Orenthal James Simpson, case number BA 097211. Los Angeles in the matter of the people of the state of California versus Orenthal James Simpson. We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Orenthal James Simpson, not guilty of the crime of murder in violation of Penal Code Section 187A, a felony upon Ronald Lyle Goldman, a human being, as charged in count 2 of the information.
We, along with the rest of the country, saw this verdict as you saw it, and the jury has spoken.
You've asked, and now, in partnership with Adobe Firefly, here is how you, too, can become a pop star.
My apartment, Pop Star Series is where this verdict as you saw it, and the jury has spoken.
The trial was a national spectacle for all of the 9 months that it was on the air, start to finish. But at the center, and often overlooked, were two really innocent people whom O.J. Simpson was responsible for killing. I know, you're probably going to say, wait, he was found not guilty. Yeah, he was found not guilty in a criminal court of murder. But he went to a civil court right after that, and he was found responsible, right? He was found responsible, and that jury hit him with a $36 million penalty, which he never paid. So when I say he's responsible for their killing, I can say that. Legal cover, folks, because that's what the jury said in the civil trial. But they said he was responsible for that killing, and that killing was an act of domestic violence. Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman are the names that we should be talking about. They were his victims. Their families wanted justice, and they still do after all these years, after all these decades. Earlier on my News Nation show, again, Banfield, 10 o'clock Eastern Time, 7 o'clock Pacific on News Nation, I spoke with Kim Goldman. She's Ron Goldman's sister. And she had a lot to say, not only about this anniversary and this very big, 30-year anniversary.
Jamie, hold on. How long ago?
Big, 30-year anniversary, but also what happened to Diddy today. Here's our conversation. I still can't believe that it's been 30 years, and I often wonder how it is for you. Day in, day out, people might let this slip from their minds, but I don't think you do.
I don't. Thank you for having me and bringing the topic to light. I think it's timely that we are having this conversation the same day that Diddy had his sentencing, especially during Domestic Violence Awareness Month. I've always thought that was a little bit poetic. It was also October 3rd that he was found guilty of his Vegas kidnapping charges also. So there's a lot of energy around this day. It's hard. It's hard watching that video. My hands are sweating. I don't know why I still anticipate that a different verdict is going to come, even though I've watched it God knows how many times over the years. But it's hard. It's a moment in time that really solidified the rest of my journey in this world, and it secured a place in my heart of wanting to make sure that I was advocating for victims and survivors as much as I could. So.
Let's talk about that. I said it off the top of this show. The judge brought down a hammer, not a sledgehammer, but it's a hammer, and I wonder how you feel. Is it, God, here we are, 30 years, and we're making some progress?
I think there is some progress. I think, for the victims to testify and to bring the truth to light, I think that, when you bring celebrity and power together and try to mix it with the complexities of this case, maybe the holding him accountable just couldn't come to fruition. It showed us that it didn't put him above the law. Maybe just held him right at bay. Maybe this will shift the narrative slightly on how we talk about victims and survivors and abuse, and take it seriously when people bring those allegations towards people in power.
Well, let me read for you, speaking of that, what Judge Subramanian actually said from the bench, because I thought this was pretty profound, and I want to get your reaction to it. The judge said, I want to speak to the strong women who came forward. Ms. Ventura and Jane, you've been through trauma we can't imagine. Ms. Ventura said it was forced sex and degradation. I want to say we heard you. You weren't just speaking to the jurors, but to other victims. You stood up to power. Those aren't just words, that's the record. This is a federal proceeding, and we just don't often hear something this strong worded. And the fact that Judge Subramanian used the evidence from the trial to sentence in the 2 charges that he was convicted of. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are, I was listening to I'm blanking on his name, the attorney that was out front saying that he was found not guilty, it didn't happen. Well, not guilty doesn't mean that harm. Yeah, not guilty doesn't mean that harm didn't occur. Not guilty doesn't mean that the crimes were committed. It just means that it didn't, rise to the to the level that it needed to come back with a conviction. So I think it's important for people to understand that victims and survivors don't control the law. They don't control reasonable doubt. The only thing that they can control is their own truth and their own ability to come forward with it and brace themselves for the attack and the re-victimization and the trauma that continues as they try to bring it to the forefront so that people can continue to talk about abuse and bring awareness to it. And I applaud them. The same way I feel about the Jeffrey Epstein victims. I mean, it's really hard to go up against people that have millions and millions of dollars to be able to silence you and to keep chugging along. So I'm very proud of them.
Yeah, speaking of that, I have to do this all from memory, and it was several months ago, which at this age is hard for me, but, Cassie testified that she was thrown into a bed frame. There were pictures of her with a terrible wound where she got stitches and plastic surgery and was holed up in a hotel and not allowed to see anyone until she healed. There was a witness, one of the escorts said that there was all sorts of fighting going on in the other room, and when they came back out, Diddy said, "Now finish strong," and he was so appalled by it he lost his erection. So this is proof that something awful happened and there was force. When I asked one of the jurors about that, they seemed confounded. I said, "Isn't that proof there was forced sex, coerced sex?" And they seemed confused. And I just wondered if you think this whole celebrity, shiny thing in the courtroom made it hard sometimes for these jurors to actually come to a verdict of guilty on the sex trafficking at the RICO.
Metal roofs are just superior in every way, so it just wasn't what I had always wanted.
King of the RICO.
Yeah, I think that, as I said, that the power and celebrity, when you mix it with really complex, cases, and, RICO, I'm not an attorney, but I understand that RICO cases are very hard to prove. It's very hard to have probably shown that he was, the CEO of a big organization that was, organizing all of these sex crimes. I mean, it really, I don't understand it. Listen, the jurors in our case didn't think that domestic violence would lead to murder. So it is very hard to understand in the mind of a juror and having to, sift through all of the evidence and sift through all of those things that you have decided in your brain make sense. And then when they're shown in a different light, they suddenly get a little cloudy. And it's very hard to be able to dismantle the power and dismantle the imbalance of power. I would love to serve as a juror. It will never happen for me, unfortunately. But I'm disappointed that it didn't get to the level that it could have. And I think that, not guilty doesn't mean that harm didn't happen. And I think we can continue to have this conversation for years to come and hope that we continue to talk about it in a way that makes it safer for people to come forward.
The last time I talked to your dad, I asked him, I think it was about an anniversary that was coming up of something. And he said, I think of these anniversaries more as X number of years without Ron. And so I just wanted to ask you, how are you guys doing? How do you mark these really sad days?
Ooh, Lord.
With honoring
I'll be
the people
right
that
back.
are my support system. Honoring
I'll
my
be
brother,
right back, y'all.
showering my fiance, my son, my animals with love, my father. I pour my heart into my work. I'm the chair of the I'm a board member for the National Center of Victims of Crime. We're celebrating 40 years of serving victims and survivors across the country. I've been a nonprofit for 30 years. I'm a VP of development for a healthcare facility here in Los Angeles. I write, I speak, I travel, I learn as much as I can to be as big of an advocate as I can. And I lean on the people that have been so wonderful to me and my family, but also across the country. And, I do my very best to be the best sister that I can for my brother, who is the most important person in my life next to the remaining family members that I have. So every day is a new day and a new challenge. And grief is a difficult process. 30 years later, it is beautiful, and it's a way for me to honor my brother, and this is another opportunity to do that, so thank you.
So we know that Sean Diddy Combs is headed to prison. We don't know yet which one. Which prison, itty bitty miny mo, right? And we don't know precisely how long he's going to stay there. Much of that is going to be up to him. If he's a good boy, lots of things you can do to screw it up. There's lots of things you can do to time shaved off your sentences. Today he found out 4 years and 2 months. That's it. Judge has spoken. Go ahead, appeal. I already heard that they plan and they think this is unfair, and I don't doubt that they'll appeal, but I also heard, this probably not gonna fly, the appeal. So if we do the math here, again, he's been in custody since last September, so he'll get credit for that. It's only 12, 13 months. And again, he could get another 15% knocked off for good behavior if he keeps his nose clean. But either way, the wheels are in motion to place Diddy somewhere in the federal system. And not a whole lot of us know how those wheels turn, or what goes through the prisoner's head at a time like this when, maybe you weren't expecting anything and thought you were going to be in Miami next week. Earlier, on my Banfield show, on television, I spoke with Michael Francisco. He's a former capo in the Colombo crime family. And back in the 1980s, Fortune magazine called Michael one of the 50 most wealthy and powerful mafia bosses. And he's written a really great book, and he's turned to God, and he does a really good podcast, and he is a wealth of knowledge about all things federal prison. So I wanted to know all things Diddy and federal prison, since jail is going to be a thing of the past. Take a listen. Here's our conversation. Michael, thanks for being here. You were the first person I thought of today when I was trying to get my head into Diddy's head. He was not expecting to get time because he was making bookings, appearances next week in Miami. What is going through his head, do you think, right now, as he just heard, okay, you're stuck in this boat, you're going to go to another boat for at least 2 more years?
Well, I think his attorneys had to be realistic. There was no way he was walking away with time served on something like this. I had figured he was going to get 5 years, so I was pretty close. But, obviously he's disappointed, although he really shouldn't be. I think, a 4-year sentence here with already credit for the year or so that he has in, I think he did very well with respect to all of the drama and all of the circumstance around this trial. There was a lot of bad stuff out there, and I'm not saying I'm not passing judgment on that, but it just looked really bad, and he could have gotten up to 10 years or 11 years. So I think the judge, took everything into consideration. I think his family today made a very good plea for him, and I think he did very well. That's my opinion.
Wherever life leads you, should the day come when a medical breaks.
Very well. That's my opinion.
So, in your experience, like your own experience and other, inmates that you've seen go through it and then show back up at the, the cell block, how do they take this? Do they bury their head in the pillow and cry, or do they keep their head held high and just pack up their stuff and wait for their assigned new prison? Like, tell me everything.
Well, everybody's different. I'm sure he went back with somewhat disappointed, so he's probably, dwelling on that. Hey, it could have been differently. Maybe I should have gotten out. Maybe he's a little bit upset, a little bit angry. I get it. All those emotions come into play. But right now, he's got to get ready. He'll spend a couple of weeks there until they designate him to a new facility. And he'll be a lot better off in prison than he is in the federal jail. At least there you can move around and you got some freedom on the yard and things like that. My thought is he'll collect himself, get himself together. There are ways for him to improve himself. They have the Bureau of Prisons now has a drug program, and if you're allowed to get into that drug program, you can knock as much as 18 months off your sentence. Now, I don't know if he'll qualify, if they'll allow him to go in, but he'll probably start to think about, okay, what can I do to reduce my time now? That's what everybody thinks when you get in there. Is there any way we can better ourselves? He's thinking about what facility they're going to send him to. I'm sure he's to his lawyers, and he asked his lawyers to put in a facility that's close to his home, close to his family, a low or medium level. I don't think he'll get into a camp.
Can you though? Does your request actually count? I mean, I thought the feds just put you where it works for them. I didn't think you get a say in it.
Well, here's the thing. You could ask the judge to recommend. The Bureau of Prisons doesn't have to go along with the judge's recommendation, but it does help a little bit. They do try to sometimes satisfy the judge's request. You can put in a request, and sometimes they'll honor it, sometimes they won't. It's really up to them. They're not bound by anything at that point in time. So, but he's wondering now, hoping which facility he gets into. I don't think he'll get into a camp only because he's high profile. Even though his sentence qualifies him for a camp, it's a lower security, sentence. But my feeling is he'll get into at least a medium because he's so high profile.
Is the camp the lowest security and therefore more paddle and tennis and all the other things and what they call like, Club Fed or Camp Cupcake?
Yeah, they moved me to a camp by accident at one point, and there's no fences or anything like that, and I wasn't there for too long because they realized they made a mistake and put me back in the medium security. But they tell you when you get there, listen, there's no fences. If you want to leave, you can leave, but when we catch you, we're going to add another 5 years onto your sentence. And while I was in that camp for 2 months, each month somebody ran away. I mean, they always try to do that. But yeah, he's thinking of that. Yeah, he's thinking of that. A medium security is not that bad.
Quickly, go back though. Go back to that piece about he's high profile, so he won't get a camp. Why wouldn't he? I thought in a camp nobody's going to shank him because again they want out.
The overriding factor there, I believe, is he's a guy with a lot of money. And I'll tell you, this happened to me when I went in there because of the profile I had, because of the way they wrote me up. I had everybody and their brother inmate trying to do a deal with me when I got out, a business deal. They need money. Because of the fact that he's a money guy, I think he's going to have more friends than he will enemies. And in a medium security, normally nobody's looking to shank you. When you get into the higher institutions, when people are doing, a ton of time and there's no way you can benefit them, then you got a little more problem. But in a medium security, I don't think he'll have an issue at all. I really don't. He can be too much of a benefit to inmates that are always looking for something. And he could be a golden ticket for some people, at least in their mind.
And so that's where we stand. Sean Combs probably laying his head back on his cot and pillow. Actually, I've heard they don't have pillows. In the Brooklyn lockup, the federal lockup in Brooklyn, the MDC. Don't know how long he's going to be there because it does take some time to do pre-sentence reports and get those all factored into, how much of a danger is he, how much of a danger are others to him because he's high profile. What about his sentence and what about his crime? What about his proclivities? What about his past? All of that goes into what kind of a facility he's going to be sent to. And then, as you heard Michael say, they may change that for what they would have given a normal guy, and they might put him in medium instead of the Club Feds, like the Camp Cupcakes, as I love the name. They may just say, for his own safety, we need to get him into something that's, more rigid. So they'll figure all that out, and then he will probably get on a prison bus if it's within bus distance, or he'll get on a prison plane if they got to fly him somewhere. But the world's his oyster, at least the American world is, right? Because the federal system has federal lockups all over the country. And I think it was Bernie Madoff who went to Butner, North Carolina, which made it real hard for his wife to visit him, right? She was in Connecticut, and she was left with nothing. Like, she was broke ass, taking the subway. She went from, like, Billionaire's Row and living the most extravagant Upper East Side life, the Hamptons and the yachts and all the rest, to basically hoofing it on the subway and suffering to pay rent in a small condo, I think in Connecticut, that somebody helped her to get into. So it wasn't like she was going to be able to get on a plane and fly down to visit her husband Bernie in the federal lockup in North Carolina. And, put it in the comments if I made a mistake. I just remember he was shipped off and it wasn't close. And then he died, because he was an old guy anyway. He died. And Ruth is still alive, living the most lonely life one can imagine. I've kind of gone off on a tangent here, but I often think of Ruth Madoff because a lot of wives don't know what their husbands are really doing in the office every day. They don't understand their business. And if she didn't understand any of this, she really is one of the big victims in this as well. Both of her sons are dead, and her husband's dead, and the name Madoff is shamed, and she is broken. Her life, as she's always noted, is just shattered. So, there's a lot of people who are victims of crime that aren't even just the victims of the criminal. I think about Diddy's kids. They didn't do any of this. They're going to be without a mother because Kim Porter's dead, and they're going to be without their dad for 3 years by the end of all of this. I think, with the year he's been locked up and the next 2, likely, that he will serve, that's a lot for them. And a lot of people don't think of the perpetrators' families, but I do. Because, they're innocent. They didn't deserve this. So it's like, that's what those perps do. They victimize a lot of people, not just their targets. They've got a big swath all around of people who suffer. So $500,000 fine, and then when he gets out, he's also got 5 years of supervised release. Okay, That might sound like whatever. It's not whatever. Like, it's parole, right? Like, you gotta probably check in with your parole officer every couple of weeks. You gotta get a job. I don't think that'll be hard. And you can't have weapons or alcohol or drugs. You can't be in bars or establishments. That's gonna be hard for Diddy, because that was his life, right? I don't even know if he can have any of those big parties anymore. Certainly he can't host them. Is he going to have premieres for any of his, functions or his clothing lines, if he's even going to have a business afterwards? Can't be around the serving of booze. Things are going to be really different for him when he gets out. And here's the big thing. There are a lot of people who will never, ever forget what they heard he did to women. Whether he was convicted or acquitted. That stuff happened. The jury didn't say it didn't happen. They just didn't think it was RICO. They just didn't think it was sex trafficking. It ain't that it didn't happen. It ain't that he didn't beat the living shit out of women. It ain't that he didn't sit in a corner and masturbate while he forced his women to have sex with the male escorts covered in baby oil. It ain't that that didn't happen. And people shouldn't forget that that is Diddy. I was really upset when I saw people celebrating outside of a courthouse. You do remember what he did to those women, right? Even that he wasn't convicted of it. You do remember that he beat the shit out of Cassie in a hotel hallway, right? So that will be a legacy that I hope we all remember. If you're thinking about going to his parties, or if he's about to sell things again, I hope that we do remember that's the guy. And there are consequences for your actions, even if it isn't prison. Okay, I'm off my soapbox. Thank you so much for being here for this. I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you watching.
With that being said, I thank y'all for being here. Like, share, subscribe. Have a good night. Peace.